everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the All Around Podcast. This is going to be our year in review for all of 2017. We're going to talk about our favorite things that we did in the year, the favorite games that we played, so on and so forth. Yes. For reference, today's date is January 14th, 2018.
The new year.
It's great.
It's been quite a while.
We want to apologize for being kind of missing for a little while.
We've been a bit MIA.
Yep, just a tad.
So we want to say sorry for that. In our defense, me and Jeremy wanted to thoroughly enjoy the Christmas holiday. We wanted to get into the new year. We want to take a little bit of a break. I know we didn't really talk about it too much on even the last video that we posted. We were trying to do a lot. There was a lot going on. Obviously, this is not our full-time thing, even though we'd love it to be. There's still a lot of shit going on in our lives.
Yep.
We were very busy. Very busy is an understatement to the extent of what was going on. So now, finally, with the new year into effect, we now, yet again, can breathe a little bit.
Yep.
Honestly, literally, like, December and January, like, probably the worst times for us, like, time length-wise of things. So now, we got some breathing room.
Yep, so now we can talk to you guys again.
Exactly. Great fucking games are coming out, which we'll talk about in the next episode.
But, stay tuned for that.
Exactly. But let's kind of cover over 2017.
Yeah. So, basically what Nick and I did is we sat down and we went over different categories and picked our favorite games in that category from the year of 2017.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're just going to go right into it. And then at the end, we'll talk about our top 5 games from the year and what our favorite game was.
And essentially, too, we'll obviously give our own reasons for why we picked each thing.
Yep.
You know, as much as we can.
Yep.
So we thought it'd be cool. We thought it'd be the best thing to kind of wrap up the year and kick into the new.
Yep. So, best shooter...
Mm-hmm.
Nick, what did you go with?
I absolutely went with Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein, hands motherfucking down for me. Love the story. It was a game that out of even one of the major features I look for in a shooter is multiplayer, which this did not have. But even still, for me, still completely, I had to give it to it. The story was super in-depth. Loved it. Gameplay mechanics were really fun. I was always running and gunning. It was just awesome. Even the DLC that came out's really good too. So, yeah.
I went with Destiny 2. I just had a lot of fun with Destiny. It was a month and a half of time that we threw into Destiny, and we played it for 6 hours a day.
Non-stop,
It was just a good time. It was... I don't know if I'd put it above other shooters as far as, like, gameplay and as far as, like, where the game rates overall, but as far as what I thought was the best, I thought it was Destiny. It kept me intrigued the most. It kept me keep playing. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Best story.
See, me, this is where I start okay, so, to put a little caveat, really quick, before we talk about this. So this is the main reason why Jeremy and myself did this year in review. So there's a lot of stuff that obviously got Game of the Year awards. You can probably ask yourself, like, why the fuck are you guys talking about shit? It's just all the fucking Game of the Year fucking shit. Nope. No! And this is exactly why. Best story, Tales of motherfucking Berseria. Really, it's just Tales of Berseria. I wish the motherfucker was in there. It would really take the Tales games to a next level.
It's like Netflix's new show, Into the Fucking World.
So, the annoying part with this is I can't really talk about too much of the story, but I can at least talk about the beginning.
Yep.
For a entire series that, in my opinion, is super PG, literally starts the game off with a tale of revenge. An entire village gets murdered. What you think is the main hero ends up being the main villain, and literally sacrificing another one of the main characters. This all happens within the first 10 minutes of the game. And then literally pits you in a whole exact tale of revenge, and even really gets you to question motives of characters, and if it really puts you in those situations as well, like, how far legitimately would you go on just a purely story of revenge? What emotions would you feel? How diligent would you be on them? And what would it take for you to then change them and either become better than them or completely, stick with them and let the table kind of fall there? I was floored is the best way I can describe it. And just on a story, and, like I said, there's a bunch of other elements I can go into it, but purely on story, it was amazing. They covered everything that I thought they could, a lot of stuff I didn't, and RPG-wise, it kept me gripped the entire time. Usually, a game like that, and RPGs in general, I'll put about 10 hours in, do that grind, and I'll take a break. The story, I had to keep playing. I had to figure out what was going to happen. And not just the end. I had to keep figuring out what was happening because they kept building up these events throughout the entire thing. Amazing. Amazing story. I could not recommend it enough.
Alright. I went with Horizon Zero Dawn. I'd never actually finished the game, but out of every game that I played that I did any kind of single-player campaign for, I was emotional throughout this story, I was intrigued throughout it, and I played it one day for 11 hours straight and didn't know that I played it for 11 hours straight.
Which as just a side note too, that's a big thing usually for you.
Yeah, because I don't ever play longer for like 3-4 hours.
Exactly, I was about to say, I'm usually like
except when we were raiding in Destiny and we were playing for 6 hours.
Like, I'm usually doing the 11-hour grind. Yeah, Jeremy's
so
usually
Horizon,
doing the 3 hours.
Horizon was definitely, it kept me intrigued the
That's
entire
really
time.
good.
And I don't want to talk about the story because for me there was a lot of things that I don't want to talk about that I felt like were things that if I...
Oh, like spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But not even spoilers, like things that weren't spoilers, just like things that like made me feel a certain way that was just like cool. So
They
I
just
like,
don't want to throw. Yeah,
I just gave up on it.
I get that.
But yeah, so that's that. Best multiplayer,
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
Yeah, both of us.
That
Both of
was
us
easy.
Destiny 2. Yeah,
Yep.
very simple.
Yep.
We put the most time into it, enjoyed it thoroughly the most.
Yep.
Even, I mean, between the two of us, I don't even think there was really a runner-up for that one.
Nope.
Like, there wasn't ever one that we debated even between that one. That was a pretty easy pick. Despite, now I will say this, despite how some people feel about Destiny as a whole franchise and everything else, we still enjoyed it. It introduced enough new things for us to keep playing. So.
Now, there was another thing that was multiplayer, but it's not a game yet, which is PUBG.
Yes.
If PUBG would have actually come out as
That
an
is
official release and not early preview, that probably would have made it.
Yes.
But because it's not an official game and not out of early preview, we're not including it.
Exactly.
So, PUBG probably would be in most of these categories.
Yeah.
Except story, because...
Yeah.
I mean, the story.
What do you
of PUBG
mean?
is
The
fantastic.
story of PUBG is amazing.
Yeah, right?
Dropped on an island filled with terror.
So, speaking of multiplayer games that are really, really good, we should go over the games from 2016 that we still played the shit out of.
Yes, which I thought was really funny because I still, well, that was kind of an award I just realized on the Game of the Year stuff. Mine had to definitely be Overwatch.
Yep.
I'm still like to this day still checking on Overwatch. They just did their whole E-League.
Yes.
They're constantly adding in new content.
Philadelphia Fusion all the way.
Right, they're constantly, which is spoiler now, none of the team, because the whole team got gutted.
Yeah.
And now no one from the team is actually from Philly.
I know.
They used to be from Philly.
But
the whole team used to be from Philly.
The best part is the colors are orange and black, so I can combine Fusion and Flyer shit, and it's great.
So, what I do love about it, and I mean Jeremy too, even though he didn't pick this one.
Yep.
But constantly adding in new content. Still to this day, the holiday events are awesome.
Yep.
Even the loot boxes, which a lot of people get mad at loot boxes in general. But what's really nice about these is all cosmetic stuff.
Yep.
Nothing necessary.
Nope.
They implement new stuff. They're always adding in new heroes as well on top of it. It's Blizzard. It's a growing franchise. It will forever keep growing.
There's still new shit that they announced that we haven't gotten.
I'll be playing until the end of 2018. I already know that. But anyway.
Mine was Rocket League, and I haven't played Rocket League in a little while because they haven't put out a major update or given me new achievements to go get. But once I have those achievements to go get, I'm going to go right back at it because I need to be at 100%. It needs to happen.
But I still feel like you'll even play it occasionally just casually just to enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Zach and I do this thing where we have one-on-one conversations, and we don't. He doesn't talk on the phone, so we sit there and talk on Xbox, and we'll hide offline, and we'll play Snow Day on Rocket League. Yep. That's what happens.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, Rocket League is still my favorite game, like probably of all time.
Yes.
Like it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm good at it. I'm not good at a lot of games.
So, speaking of, oh well, fuck, damn it, we should have jumped from this one to this one.
This one to this one?
No, I was doing this one to this one
Oh,
because we could have both went with the same thing. Let's wait on this one.
Okay, yeah. So
Let's
go
do this one.
So, you have two for this category.
Yes. So
This
the
is
category.
best art.
Yeah. So the category is best art, and the first I want to do an honorable mention because before the game that me and Jeremy both decided on,
So the honorable mention
Even just recently, the art book just came out. I love Persona's art in general. Persona 5 is no exception. The whole red and white contrast that they really did with this one, that was the whole two main color themes. The whole thievery style that they put into even the personas as well, and this is really cool. Just even the character designs is awesome. The way the Phantom Thieves look as opposed to even the character designs is super fucking awesome. But it completely got snubbed by Cuphead. We had to give it to Cuphead.
Yep.
It's too fucking good. The animation style is awesome. The fucking, how it's based on old 1940s and 50s cartoons.
Yep, it's incredible.
It's so good. So good.
Yep, and the fact that you just have like this crazy art style that everything is just hand drawn like that, and it looks like a cartoon, but also is a video game that runs super smoothly without like it's just crazy. It's just awesome.
And what's really interesting too, and technically this kind of bleeds into gameplay, but I still think it's very important for the art, is in those old cartoons, always characters generally would never stand still. Characters always are bouncing up and down and like always moving. And it's really interesting because even with Cuphead's very disciplined of looking for patterns type gameplay, that happens all the time. You're looking for the character, okay, on the third bounce, he's going to move his head this way and do this. Like, it bled so much into, like, oh, fuck, that naturally plays well into the game without having to go an extra mile in that.
Right.
Like, just naturally animated 1950s cartoon. And it's like, oh shit, that could totally just work. Like, I thought it was such an awesome
It was
setup.
awesome. It was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something we hadn't seen before. And they totally embraced it in every way. Like, they totally embraced the art style and made it, like, when they put out the soundtrack and they put it on vinyl.
Yes.
And they did, like, the different vinyl figures, and they had, like, Funko did everything with them, and they made them have that aspect in a figure, in a 3D figure of a 2D hand drawing. Like, it was awesome. Like, they just embraced it totally. So it was cool.
Very good.
Let's skip this one for now and do these three.
Yeah.
So, best indie game?
Cuphead. I had to give it to Cuphead.
I picked Sonic Mania because although Sonic Mania is only half of an indie game because it is published by a major publisher and also developed by a major developer, it had 3 people that worked on fan-made ports for Sonic 2 and a couple other games on like browser games and Steam. They Sega took them and basically tapped them to do Sonic Mania, and Sonic Mania was awesome. It was so cool. It was like reliving my childhood. It was only $20. It was fantastic. I loved every minute of it.
Totally worth it.
Got the collector's edition.
Yeah,
which was cool.
Likewise. I got the statue right up there. Can't see it on camera.
We could go.
Yeah.
Best RPG.
So, obviously, there's a lot of RPGs that came out.
Yep.
This one was a very important category for myself. I had to give it to Persona 5. I had to. I really did. It was a big. There was so many that I was torn between, but overall, had to give it to Persona. Like I said, it was like for me at the time, it was even like best art style, which was next to Cuphead. Gameplay was awesome. They introduced so many things that we already knew in the Persona series that we loved, and they put so much more. The story's a lot more intense. I felt a lot more really grip with the characters as opposed to older ones like in the Persona series. I really had to wait, put the time in. This one got me right in. Even the fact that you can have so many character relationships, friendships. There's a whole RPG grind, but it never feels long enough to be a grind. There's a million different personas to collect. It's almost like a mini-type Pokemon setup in that sense. Dungeoning is awesome, and the way they have it now with you being able to ride on this whole cat bus instead of just walking around a repetitive dungeon, so even the traveling feels a lot faster. And for replayability, it's really good. That's a major thing I look at for RPGs as well. The fact that you can end up in different relationships, which give you different items to then play the game again. And on top of that, one thing they did in this one that they have not done in a previous Persona game, which I thought was very cool, was they give you a fast forward option. Yeah. So if you're going through like 50
I remember
things,
you talked about that a lot when Persona first
that's what I'm saying. So if they're going through a lot of old school dialogue that you're like, fuck, I've already listened to this. Because the major thing when you first play it is you want to listen to all the dialogue that's extremely dialogue heavy. But when you do it a second time, you kind of know all the tricks and the trade stuff. There's stuff you want to replay and look for, but past that, I mean, Jesus Christ, when they're just talking about like, fuck, what are we going to do about this boss that we're going to fight? You already know that shit, but it takes 20 minutes. You just fast forward it, bam, it's done in 5 seconds. So, another really cool thing. Yeah, had to give it to him. Awesome.
I pricked.
Yep,
Yeah.
you pricked it.
I picked Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I don't play a lot of RPGs. They know that. You know that. I won't touch Persona with a 10-foot pole.
Exactly.
Just never. Just I'm not into
Very
it.
depressing.
But Breath of the Wild, for being what it is and being an RPG, and really the first RPG in Zelda series,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
In the way that it is.
Definitely the most RPG Zeldas went.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I
fucking awesome.
put 60, 70 hours in it. Have yet to beat it because so many other things came out and I never went back to it. But I do plan on going back to it and beating it. But yeah, it was great.
It is the Skyrim of Zelda.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
Like I said, yeah, that makes it already there. And then plus, I mean, like all the character customization, all the different fucking weapons you can fucking craft and fucking collect,
and the costumes and the different abilities.
Full open world.
Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome.
You could do it in any way that you wanted to. You could go right to the castle if you really wanted to and skip everything else. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So Nick.
I'm noticing this now. You didn't write which one I was gonna put.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. So best sports game.
Wait. I have to go first because you have to tell.
Okay.
Wait. Tell the one that you were gonna say.
So not this one.
Yeah, not that
the one I was going to say was Forza. I can't talk.
Forza
Motorsport 7.
Yep.
Awesome. Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
I picked NHL 18 because I don't play sports games, and NHL was fucking great this year.
Well, yeah, neither do I, but that's the reason why fucking Jeremy, and of course I jested when we were talking about this, Persona fucking 5 with its goddamn batting cages. But
Persona 5 is the best sports game of the year.
Persona 5, best sports game. At least for me. Yep. I would definitely say.
No, I picked NHL because NHL is great. It's the best sports game they put out every year. EA's team that
has not fucked it over yet.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That's the one thing That's the one thing I do want to say too. With Forza 7, it's the only thing I was a little bit disappointed with.
Yeah,
they did have loot boxes.
Yep,
yeah. They did fuck that over
because they didn't do it the right way. But anyway, turn 10, whatever.
Agreed. Yes.
Let's do this one.
Most overrated?
No, this one.
Well, I just said it, so we're gonna do
we're gonna do most overrated then.
Most overrated for me is Skyrim for the 15th time.
Yep.
We got
doesn't matter what system.
So we got Switch.
Yep.
And then Skyrim VR.
Yep. Those actually came out this year.
Yep. And then even last year we just got Skyrim on Xbox One and PS4.
Yep.
Skyrim. It's too much fucking Skyrim. We gotta stop. We gotta stop with the Skyrim. It's just too much goddamn Skyrim. And the problem is they yet again charge full price.
Yep.
We're seeing $60 again on fucking Skyrim on the Switch. Yep. And it had 3 Zelda items in it? That like 2 of them you needed amiibos for.
Yep.
I found that very overrated. That's all I have to say.
I picked Friday the 13th because I hate it. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. We still don't have a single player campaign. It's ridiculous. It is not a fun game, and everybody wants to play this damn game, and I can't stand it.
Now, I will say this.
People are treating it like a AAA title. It was a fucking Kickstarter.
Now, I will say this, though. Would you rather play Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
Really?
Yes.
See, at least, here's the thing. Because they did fix the facial animations on Friday the 13th, but I would even play worse the old school facial. I would play Day 1 Friday the 13th rather than play Dead by Daylight.
I like Dead by Daylight better.
I thought the graphics on Dead by Daylight were
I thought the graphics were shit.
And on top of everything, even though killing Jason is like pretty much impossible, I honestly I want to throw my controller through the wall if I have to try to turn off all those generators in Dead by Daylight. I fucking Hey, sorry, we're getting very sidetracked.
So remember when PUBG was a thing, and then Fortnite made Battle Royale, and that became a super popular thing?
Yes.
Okay, well then there was Dead by Daylight, and then people took Dead by Daylight and put Jason in it, and all of a sudden that's more important, and it's a better game.
Well, hold on. We're not gonna get in this whole debate right now.
Friday the 13th is overrated.
But I will say this: Fortnite has a pretty fucking kick-ass feature, and that's even coming. And I will say this: that's coming from someone who plays PUBG and does not play Battle Royale. I'm just saying. We have to give some credentials.
Yeah.
They stole PUBG like multiple franchises did now, currently.
Yeah, Dying Light's doing it now.
Exactly. But what
Paladins literally call it Battlegrounds.
So, well, first of all, let's not. So, Paladin's first problem with Paladin Battlegrounds is Paladins is Overwatch. First of all, so really what it is it first ripped off a game and now just ripping off 2 games at the same time, which is very impressive. They doubled down. Like, you're mad at Fortnite. Paladins motherfucking Battlegrounds.
Sorry, we're gonna get Paladins cart next.
They might as well just change it to Diet Overwatch Battlegrounds at this point, for fuck's sake. That shit is goddamn travesty.
Player Unknown's Diet Overwatch.
But what I was gonna say really quick though. See, the one thing I wasn't as mad with Fortnite was they have enough new features and gameplay and even appearance.
Oh, also, disclaimer. Fortnite's not a real game yet either. So that's why Fortnite's not in here.
That's very true.
So just because we are
honestly,
talking about Fortnite.
Honestly, God, I probably would.
I probably would have put Fortnite for something in here.
I might have put it as multiplayer. Maybe.
If
it would have been a real
if it would have been a real game.
If it would have been a real game before Battlegrounds.
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see how that turns out this year.
We will. It'll be an interesting race.
Yeah. Also, I'm reading through all these and I totally realized that we could have done another category that we didn't touch.
What do you mean?
Best fighter.
Yeah, there wasn't a good one this year.
Injustice.
Well, yeah, but we kind of...
Yeah, but we both picked...
exactly. It just would have been,
But I was looking through this, I was like...
Best fighter, Injustice.
Yep. I was like...
Easy. But that was, like... The problem is with that one, though, it's, like, such a landslide.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't even... Like, at least with these, there's other games in contests. I think that's why.
Okay, so let's go from overrated...
Yep.
...to underrated.
Okay, do yours first.
Okay, so my most underrated game is Snipperclips, which I think that game...
Very fair.
It's a very interesting concept. It uses the Joy-Con controllers in an awesome way. It makes co-op puzzle solving awesome. It's
which is a rare commodity in general right now to get a co-op game.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Especially one so intricate on the Switch. Like, you have to both know what you're doing. You have to both be into it. You have to both want to do it. And it's fun. It's fun for everybody. It's fun for little kids. It's fun for... adults. It's fun for elderly people that are trying to figure shit out. Like, it's fun for everybody. It is awesome. And then they did Snipperclips Plus, and it added so much more to it. It was a lot of fun, and I feel like the game just did not sell as much as it could have.
All within the same year.
Yeah,
they put out a lot of content very quickly.
They did.
They put it within 3 months.
5 months.
Is it?
Yeah, it was 5 months.
Well, when they put out the full game, but the DLC dropped earlier.
Oh yeah, the DLC dropped 3 weeks later.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, they put out the DLC for it very quickly.
Yeah, Snipperclips I just thought was very, very underrated and felt like it could have done better. And it was a very big game for Nintendo that I think Nintendo tried to capitalize on, but they just didn't get there because it came out as a launch title, along with games like 1-2 Switch, which was also very underrated.
Yep.
But Snipperclips, I feel like just went under everybody's radar,
totally.
and you definitely should play it.
1-2 Switch was just kind of okay. Well, I think the biggest problem with Snipperclips is it's like a really good, awesome independent game, but the problem is it's going against Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, and even Mario Kart. Like, it's going against like Nintendo staples that like you can't. It's impossible to beat. It's impossible to beat. But no, I definitely agree. Check that one out. Mine is a game that I've already mentioned. You're gonna notice apparently that I keep mentioning RPGs on my list. Tales of Berseria. Like I said, it literally blew me away completely with the story, and it came out so early in the year. Just to keep in perspective, I've played like 80% of the games we've ever talked about ever on the fucking channel.
At least for a little bit. We might not have beaten them, but we played
exactly. And I usually put quite a bit of time in the games that I bring up at all. But like I said, about 80% of the games we bring up on the channel, which is pretty big. This game came out in February, and it's still getting, for me, easily the most underrated. And, like I said, best story. I don't want to talk about the story anymore, because obviously I already checked that out, so check that out. Gameplay mechanics, great. If you want to check, or if you've never even played any type of RPG, Jeremy, if you've never played any game or really gotten into them, this is the perfect one to get into. They introduce the combat mechanics very well. It is a third-person run-around hack and slash, but set in a battle mode style where it almost kind of sets you up in turn-based, but then puts you in a third-person action as an individual arena. It's really good. This story is so fucking compelling, and it's one thing to just be like, oh, it's kind of a cool anime-esque, RPG, which even when you hear that, you already have a preconceived notion of what it is.
Right.
But it is so adult-themed. It's by far the most adult-themed video game I played, honestly, all year. Like, it floored me on the serious tones it had. Like I said, I just even thoroughly enjoyed the gameplay. I had to get through the entirety of the game. I 100% had to.
Lots of sex, right?
Yes. There's just banging throughout the entire thing. Now, It's so good. You I honestly God cannot recommend the game enough. I really cannot. It is so good, and it really upsets me because the previous 2 Tales games that came out did not sell well at all. Tales of Zestiria was very bland. Introduced good gameplay mechanics, but overall story was so fucking boring. And then Tales of Xillia 2 was a sequel that even a lot of people didn't even play the first one of, and that one had almost like it took a Mass Effect gameplay to a otherwise third-person run-around RPG, which it wasn't a good flip. It was not a good flip. It felt very ripped off. It felt very not in place, and it also gave you a totally different main character, which usually when you think of a sequel, it would give you either a character you already knew or the main character again. This one made 2 completely new characters, which I was like, but then just surrounded you around characters you knew the whole time. It's very frustrating for me because all I wanted to do was just play as those characters.
Right.
So, and you can in the combat, but you really can't to run around and shit. So it's very frustrating. Moral of the story, please, if you are really trying to risk a game this year that you haven't heard much about, please check out Tales of Berseria.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Best, and this is a category that nobody really ever touches. Best DLC.
Do you want to do yours first?
I'll do mine first.
Yeah.
So mine's going to be interesting because it's for a game that didn't come out this year. But it's also for a type of game I don't really play that much. I think the best DLC that dropped was the Hot Wheels DLC for Forza Horizon 3. It was so much fun. Mm-hmm. It was an incredible experience to have these real cars doing these crazy tricks. Which, people could say, okay, Grand Theft Auto did the stunt thing and, whatever. Yeah. But this was, real Hot Wheels tracks. This was cool.
It was,
and I remember there was a game when I was little that I played on the computer. I was, 7. And there was, some Hot Wheels game. And you used to have to, make your own track. And you would, send this car down. And you would, drive the car and make it so it would go up around the thing. And you go through the drain and go around this place. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I did that. And it was okay, I'm playing this in 1080 with 60 frames per second. With this super awesome Lamborghini going around this giant track in the sky and doing this crossing. It was cool.
It was so good, too, because they even had, the shark. They had so many Hot Wheels actual track themes and stuff. I thought that was super awesome.
Yeah, it was the Hot Wheels game we never got.
Exactly. It really was. Yeah. It was, and we got a lot of Hot Wheels games, even on, PS2 and GameCube and shit, but, this was, oh, man. If they would have put a full game out on, Xbox One and PS4, I honestly probably would have bought it.
Yeah, me too.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
It was fun.
Now, some people might guess what I would have put as DLC, because, spoiler, I actually played all of it on the channel, and that is Shovel Knight's DLC, Spectre of Torment. They already had Plague of Shadows. They literally, somehow... did even better with Spectre of Torment. A whole new character, Spectre Knight, which we already played against in Shovel Knight. The gameplay mechanics are totally new. If you look at even my gameplay of it looks, or just gameplay in general, it looks the same. Even the maps and stuff that you play are technically the same, but the way Spectre Knight operates and the way he moves and the way he just even does air dashes and the way he can auto-target a character and then auto-jump to them plays completely different than Shovel Knight. And that's one thing I really love about Yacht Club games. With all of their characters that they keep putting out for Shovel Knight, the entire story itself feels completely new every time.
Yeah.
And I really will say this. When I first got into Spectre Torment, I did not think in my wildest dreams it would beat Plague of Shadows as DLC-wise. It did that and then some. Added an even better story. Complex characters, gave you, throughout playing that campaign, it gave you a bunch of backstory elements and had you even play as that backstory character for a while. It was awesome. It was really good, and the soundtrack was really good too. They added in, I think, over 11 new tracks, and I still listen to them to this day. So yeah, if you ever get bored too, shameless plug, but check out any of the gameplay videos. They're really fun.
Is it
I had a blast.
Plug if it's on our channel? It's not
a little bit. It's a little bit shameless.
No.
Well, shameless as in I have no shame plugging it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But is it? But is it even a plug? It's our stuff. It's not.
Yeah. Check it the fuck out. Plug. Yeah. Check it out.
So all right. So let's do this one, but let's do these two first because we don't
yes,
actually know.
No, that's exactly
right. And then we'll do.
Yeah. Okay. So do yours first.
Okay. So we.
Well, first
the category is most hype game for 2018.
Yes.
So the one we're most excited for.
Yes.
We both have one, but then there's another one.
Yes.
And we don't know if these games are coming out in 2018.
What I was gonna say, so me and Jeremy both have honorable mentions.
Yep.
And the only reason they are honorable mentions, and honestly not our picks,
is because we don't know if they're actually coming out this year. So
We don't.
if they're coming out this year, these are the games we're most excited for. But as far as the games that we know that are coming out for, we both picked Spider-Man.
yes, yeah, we both picked Spider-Man. Super amped.
Yep.
We know what's coming out this year.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
They're
I
gonna
can't
fucking
wait.
kill it.
Yep.
They're gonna kill it.
It looks incredible. The story looks awesome. The gameplay looks awesome.
If they essentially Arkham this type setup and even make it a series, I'm so fucking down.
And Insomniac.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
man,
going to be
man.
great.
And they've been on a good streak.
Yes.
They haven't put out a bad game in a very long time.
Okay.
So
As far as the games that we don't know if they're coming out, mine's The Last of Us 2, which, for whatever reason, everybody keeps saying that this game was slated to come out this year, and that everybody's been saying, Last of Us 2 is probably coming out in 2018. Nobody's ever put a date anywhere. I've
No.
never seen 2018, so I don't know where people got that.
yeah,
idea.
Naughty Dog has not put any
Naughty Dog
date.
never said that. But if that's what we're going with, then, okay, cool, 2018. I personally think spring 2019, but everybody else in the world thinks it's going to come out this year.
Or
So-
like quarter 1, yeah.
yeah,
even
so
possibly quarter
I'm
one.
going with that, and that is definitely the game that I am most excited
Holy
for.
fuck! I mean, that almost goes without saying. Like it's
yeah.
fucking bang.
The first Last of Us was incredible, with how many awards
So
it
good.
got
So
and
good.
how emotional the story
And
was.
even its DLC.
and- yeah, all of it,
Mhm.
and even the multiplayer was cool.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like-
which was very surprising.
Yes.
That was so undersold and
Yeah.
did so well.
So if we can get all of that from the first game and craze it up in the second one, which Naughty Dog said they would only do it if they had a good enough story to top the first one, and it looks crazy, it looks brutal,
On
it
the-
looks like this is going to be great.
On the 2 teasers alone,
Yeah, like I cannot wait for this game.
already totally sucks you.
All right, yours, which is
So
also
mine-
one of mine.
So yeah, exactly. Well, both of ours are ours
Yes,
as well. If that makes any sense. Now this one's a little bit different because the company did say 2018. My pick is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep.
Now, once saying that, let's all be honest with ourselves. Square Enix has said a lot of dates over a lot of years,
Yep.
and we all know them to not be 100% accurate.
Yep.
And Kingdom Hearts of
Yeah,
all
remember when it was
things...
going to come out in 2006?
Exactly. See, Kingdom Hearts we've been waiting, over fucking a decade for at this point?
Like almost 15 years.
That's what I'm saying. It's been a very long time. We're very old
Longer.
now. Stop. Let's not go...
It was a long time.
Yeah, it's been a very, very long time since we've been waiting for this game. But even Kingdom Hearts 2 took a very long time as well.
No, it didn't.
From
It came
1
out
to 2?
Came out 2 years after the first one.
Are you sure? I think it was like 5.
No. I don't have my phone.
Shit! We'll fact check it.
Your phone's on the floor, isn't
Okay. Well, damn it, I'm talking to things. I don't want
Here.
to do this. No, I'll do
it?
it.
Okay, fine.
But
I'll
I'll
talk. You look it up, I'll talk about
Okay,
Kingdom Hearts.
here. So talk about Kingdom
Okay,
Hearts. Go for it.
so from what we've seen so far, we've gotten confirmed that Toy Story is going to be in it. We've gotten confirmed that Hercules is going to be in it. That Tangled is going to be in it. We're going to see Big Hero 6. So Toy Story and Big Hero 6, they're both Pixar. Contrary to popular belief, Disney has not always owned Pixar. But now that they do, we can get more Pixar worlds in there. So we could get The Incredibles. We could get Finding Nemo if they wanted to change it up and not do Little Mermaid for the 100,000th time. We could see Spider-Man. We could see Marvel stuff. We could see Star Wars stuff. Like, we could see a whole bunch of stuff.
So, you were wrong, but close. March 28th, 2002,
The first Kingdom Hearts came out.
first Kingdom Hearts. The sequel came out December 22nd of 2005.
Okay, so,
So
3
years.
3 years.
So 3 years. Almost.
Not a decade.
Almost 4.
Yeah.
So we were literally, it was right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost 13 years since we've gotten.
Yeah, which is very...
a main entry.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we're excited.
Very long time.
And we were told it was like, hey, it's going to be like 2006 or 2008.
And
or
the other thing is,
2010.
too, because they've showed us a lot of, like, semi-gameplay engine trailers.
Yeah.
And if that game plays half as fucking well as
It
it's
looks
showing
so-
off,
Oh, man.
holy shit, the sky is the limit on this
Yep.
one. And, most importantly, on top of this whole thing that even you were talking about, because I was listening the whole time, most importantly, this game, whenever it does come out, is finally wrapping up the series.
Yep.
At least for now. Like,
Well,
wrapping up this story.
It's wrapping up the Sora saga.
Exactly.
So, you know what I just thought of in my head?
What?
Wouldn't it be crazy if when Kingdom Hearts 3 drops, they put Sora in Dissidia?
Oh, yeah, he'll probably be a DLC character.
Yo.
Because they put him in World of Final Fantasy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
as like a DLC summon.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they
awesome.
put him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They could absolutely put him into City without that. I guarantee.
Can we get Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch, which is why it's taking so long, so that we can get Sora and Smash
Is there a
Bros?
season pass for Dissidia?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
calling it right now. I guarantee he's gonna be one of the characters.
Yep.
Or maybe even the debut character to get people to get
Yeah.
season pass.
Yeah. Well, no, he'll come out when the game comes out.
He could be no. You want to know what could be worse? He could be a season pass only character.
Or
How savage would that be?
or he's just a character that you get into Dissidia if you buy Kingdom Hearts 3.
Could be dope.
And you got to do it through the PlayStation Store.
Well, damn.
Damn.
They fuck over retailers.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can put it in the game case.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
There's a way out. we can survive.
PlayStation exclusive content.
Oh man.
All right. So anyway,
They're doing that with Monster
so
Hunter.
now we'll go to the big ones.
Yes.
We'll do the honorable mentions first. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these. Kind of just like throw them out there because most of them we've already talked about.
But really quick though, we should kind of bring up though our first thing. So what we're gonna end off on is our top 5.
Yep.
But these are honorable mentions that were so close,
They just
but
didn't make it.
just did not make the top 5.
Yep. And now keep in mind too, these are not based off of how well the game sold, how well the game did, what the reviews were, whatever. This is just our personal top 6 if you're including the honorable mention.
Yes.
So you go first.
So mine was Wolfenstein. Obviously I gave
For
it...
honorable mention.
Yes, for honorable mention.
Yeah. Not Game of the Year.
No, not Game of the Year. Your honorable mention, though, I do want to talk about as well, though, for the record. Now, obviously, I gave it Best Shooter, but it really just came down to I love the game. I played it more than I ever thought I would play Wolfenstein, or just even play first-person shooter purely for a campaign, for that matter.
Yep.
Because it has a lot of replay value. There's a lot of extra missions to do and stuff. Honest to God, there was literally 5 games that just gave me more.
Yep.
That honestly, that literally is it. That's like what I do want to say. So if you haven't played Wolfenstein or did want to check it out, could not recommend it enough. But there literally was just 5 games that just gave me more.
Yep.
That's honest to God what it was. But
mine was Mario, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
And the reason it didn't make it is because I am emotionally attached to 5 other games more than Mario. And Mario is definitely a game that is one of the best games that I played.
Oh, yeah.
But it did not break the top 5 for me. And my top 5, I think, is going to be kind of surprising. Nick's, I don't think is.
How dare you? No, it's very true. It's very true. Anybody that knows me very well could probably guess them already. Even based off the list that I've already put.
Yep.
That I've already set up. Now, I will say this, though, too, for Mario. Same thing for me. Just spoiler, it's not on my top 5. The only reason was a lot of the games I played this year a lot of them were ones that more surprised me. And Mario was very consistent.
Yep.
And the only reason why I say that technically is a bad thing was...
we knew what we were getting.
Exactly. We knew we were going to get an amazing game. And the only thing was, if Mario was a longer setup and the Power Moons didn't feel as much of a grind, I easily would have put it in the top 5.
The other thing, too, is we saw Mario. What we got is exactly what we got from the trailers. Like, it was that game.
It was exactly
There was
that game.
not anything in Mario that was just like, didn't see that coming. Or, oh, that's cool. It was just kind of like, yeah, I knew that.
Yep.
Great. It was kind of like if you watched every single trailer and every single TV spot for Infinity War when it rolls around, and then you go see it, you're like, yep, saw that coming. Yep, saw that coming.
Yeah.
Yep, saw that coming. Same thing.
Yeah. Which, yet again, isn't anything bad.
No, it's not
an
a bad thing.
amazing
It's
game.
still amazing. It was awesome.
Totally amazing game. It's like 10 out of 10, but it just, honest to God, just did not. And the other thing, too, that I should probably say, even for both of us, for a top 5 setup, these are games that, honest to God, is just our opinions.
Yep, just
purely.
our opinions.
Like, if you think we're totally full of shit, if you have your own top 5,
share it in the comments.
share it in the comments. Like honest to God, I would love to know, like, what a lot of people's top 5 was. Because even, you know what, I almost want to say another honorable mention. Because I just realized, because it's not my top 5, and I haven't mentioned it at all, but it's a really good game. And that's Nier.
Oh, yeah.
Because Nier came out, and Nier was fucking really
I didn't
good.
touch Nier.
Third-person action game. Even me, personally...
I didn't know you played Nier.
This is what I was going to bring up. I actually just got it in November.
There you go.
So I literally just beat the campaign about, like, 2 weeks ago. So it's really good, and the replay value is fucking insane. But yet again, it's just, I feel like I didn't put enough time into it to consider that one. And another one, I know, sorry, we only wrote 2, and now I'm listing off like 15. Another one, which same thing, I haven't even come close to beating. I've literally only put 10 hours into it, and I refuse to put it on any type of top anything, even RPG or anything, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, it just came out too late at the end of the year, and there's way too much of the fucking game for me to even put a fucking honest-to-God review of it. It's way too much. I haven't had any time to play it. There's only more games coming out. Honestly, it's going to be one for me that's going to get swept under the rug, and it's going to be like Nier. Like, when Nier came out, I knew it was good, I knew it was fucking amazing, but I knew I couldn't put the time into it, so 6 months from now, I will play Xenoblade, and I'll fucking love it. Exactly. When it hits that dead period, that's the first game I'm going to pick up.
Yep.
So anyway.
Alright, so now we'll do our top 5, but these, except for the number 1, the other 4 are not in any kind of order.
No, not at all.
We just threw them up there together. We couldn't figure out what would be in what order.
And plus, they'd be very nitpicky.
Yeah. So, we'll just bounce back and forth. I'll go first, then you go. And
cool.
Bounce up.
I'm down.
So, the first one I have on my list is kind of surprising, unless you know me. Uncharted The Lost Legacy. It was a DLC expansion, technically, but I bought it as a full retail release as a separate game. So, to me, it is a separate game.
Well, you jokingly were almost going to put it as best DLC.
I was, yeah. But it is a real game because I bought it on a disc and I did not need Uncharted 4 to play it. Mm-hmm. Uncharted The Lost Legacy was one of, I think, the best gameplay in the series. It introduced lockpicking. I thought it was a lot smoother than Uncharted 4. The graphics were the same as Uncharted 4. And if we would have had this podcast last year and we would have, 2016. If we would have done a best of 2016, Uncharted 4 absolutely would have made it. I have an Uncharted tattoo. Like, Uncharted is the best series.
It is Jeremy's
It's my favorite.
It is Jeremy's
So, Uncharted definitely had to be on that list.
Yes. For me, the first one on my top 5, Injustice 2, by far decimated fighters for the year.
Yeah,
there was a lot of fighters that came out. This one absolutely obliterated it. The fact that you could have, first of all, the character roster was really good.
It was also like an RPG.
There's so many RPG elements, which of course I really love. That always hits me. With all the armor customization, even the diversity of characters, you could be a Green Lantern main and face someone else who's also a Green Lantern main
and have an entirely
completely different. Even moveset. That was another feature too. They had different even skills where some of your combos would chain even differently. It was so good. The only game I usually would ever compare it to was Soul Calibur 4, with the amount of stuff you could put in for armor customization wise, which put in stats, which then develop that character. They need to have more fighting games like that because long term, those are the games people will play.
Yeah.
And also too, going into long term, their DLC has been awesome. They put out fighter packs where they put 3 characters in one main fighter pack. All of the characters so far have been awesome. There's not been a bad character out of any of the DLCs so far.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's all I'm saying. There's so many. And they're putting out more. Yeah. There's only more coming out. Yep. So, it's so good. It's so good.
So my next one would be Assassin's Creed Origins, which I played a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
Did not play as much as I wanted to because then we got distracted with other games. But Creed was definitely a fresh, soft reboot for the franchise, and it definitely felt like the Assassin's Creed game that I've wanted to play for a long time. The gameplay was better, kind of played like Uncharted. There was a lot of cool things with Creed that I just really, really enjoyed. And the setting, we have not had a game set in ancient Egypt, I think, really ever.
No, not really.
I mean, the closest thing we ever got was Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Which, I've said this before, Ubisoft could totally reboot Prince of Persia and have a crossover with Assassin's Creed. It'd be pretty dope.
I mean, Jesus Christ, after we got a fucking Final Fantasy crossover in this game.
Yeah. I mean, Ubisoft owns both franchises. It's easier.
And the one thing I will say, too, especially based off, yet again, it's one of those franchises where it's based off the previous games.
Yeah.
This was so refreshing.
Yes.
Because they really did their homework, and it was really good.
Great.
It was a finished product when it came out.
Yeah, and they knew what they were doing this time. They heard people. It took so long, and we had 2 mediocre games in between. But from the time that this was started, right after Black Flag, to the time it came out, it was definitely worth it.
You can tame a hippo.
Yes, you can.
How is that not?
You can pet a cat.
How is that not in a top 5 already? You can tame a hippo
and pet a cat.
Yeah,
you can pet a kitty.
And you can poison a person, have them die. Their body's so riddled with poison, so as you carry their body along the streets, you could poison and plague an entire town within seconds.
It's awesome.
Fucking awesome. It's so much fun. That's the one thing with this one, too. It has a very, like, in GTA, you can kind of go, fuck it, and then run around and have fun. This game, you can have a ton of fun.
Yeah, you just do whatever you want.
Which is good. Like, in open world games, I think in any open world game, you kind of need to have that. So I thought it was dope.
Alright, you're next one.
Sorry. Tales of Berseria. I've already talked a lot about it.
Yep.
Play the fucking game. Please. Please play the game.
Play the game, please.
Please play the game. That's all I'm going to say, because I've already talked about the game enough.
Cool. I'm going to do this one, because I'm going to do this one after, because this one's more surprising. Destiny 2, which, great story.
Yep.
Could have been longer, but still great.
Longer than the first one.
Yeah.
And more detail than the first one. Improvements.
Yep.
Improvements.
Great gameplay. A lot of fun to play with people. Probably played that game more than any other game this year. So, boom. Destiny it is.
Bam. Cuphead. Awesome. If you have an Xbox One, you literally have to play it.
Yes.
It's very good. If you're into challenging
Windows.
games...
It's on Windows 10, right?
That's very true. Yes. It's very true. If you're into challenging games, play it. If you've never been into a challenging game, play it. It's very cool. They even start you off with potentially easy modes to get you warmed up into every fight, so nothing's too crazy.
If you like Mega Man, play it.
Yes. If you even like Dark Souls-esque difficulty, which I feel like everything gets titled as, play it.
Yep.
You gotta play it. Have to play it. And hold on, sorry, last thing. And even if you don't like games that are super difficult, I think anyone who appreciates art style in a game,
absolutely,
you have to play. You have to play,
or if
at
you
least
just
experience
like art.
Yeah.
If you just like to look at different forms of art, play this game.
Yep. Thoroughly. Anyway.
All right, so my next one's kind of a surprise because I didn't talk about it at all. But
came out very early in the year.
Yeah, and it was definitely one of my favorite games that I played. Which was Resident Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
I hate horror games, and I scream like a little girl, but I love the game. The game was fun. It kept me intrigued. It had a different story. It was the first person Resident Evil.
And fucking in forever.
No, it was the first one.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's Operation Raccoon City,
and
but out of the main series, it was the first one.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I want to go back and play the DLC.
Yeah. Yes, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Except for the action one's kind of just whatever.
Yeah.
Chris Redfield, who doesn't look like Chris Redfield.
No.
At
and
all.
the umbrella logo is blue.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think they explained that though.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll figure out what's going on with that. My second to last one, Persona 5.
No
Yet
surprise.
again, yeah, talked a lot about that. It's goddamn fucking.
What's Persona?
It's RPG of the year.
It's the best sport game, right?
It's so it is. It's the best sports game. It's the best RPG. It's the best sports game. It's the best game. It's just
the
good.
best game.
It's the best game. You have
it's the
to.
best PlayStation game. It's the best Xbox game.
It's so good, and it hits on. And the reason why I say this, and I'm not even just trying to talk this game up enough ridiculously, this game plays on every level. Even though Jeremy, the man himself, I have to really go around the mic to gesture. I can't do this anymore because then my hand gets totally covered. Like this man, and then my hand's gone. So like this motherfucker over here, who literally says that he won't touch the game with a 10-foot pole. But here's the thing: if you're a casual gamer, it's awesome. You get the dialogue option to do that stuff. If you're an in-depth person who really wants like some fucking setup of the game, it literally couldn't give you more of that. But it gives you the option. You can play the game casually. You can play the game very intensively. It gives you the option either way, and it caters to your gameplay style, which is really cool. There's a lot of whole areas in the world maps that get set up where you can operate stealth. You can kind of go ham and just go fuck it and go all out and really beef up your characters to not have to worry about going stealthy.
Yeah, I just thought of another stupid, ridiculous category Persona wins.
What?
Best PlayStation 3 game of the year.
You're goddamn right it does. You're goddamn right it does.
Because believe it or not, PS3 got a new game this year that wasn't sports.
Best multi-platform game.
Best Sony game.
But, what's
Best
it called?
Xbox.
But no, I mean, obviously I talk a lot about RPGs. Everyone gets tired of me talking about the same RPGs.
Whatever.
But it's worth it.
RPGs take a while to beat.
That's all I gotta, that's the thing. I mean, it's a super long grind, but it's worth it. It tells a great story.
They're worth it for a while. I mean, look at The Witcher.
I mean, even off Persona 4, I played that game for 5 years, and I could literally still play that game today.
That's too
and
much
Persona 5 is the exact same thing. Persona 5, I could replay that story any day of the week, whenever, and I really do mean this. Anytime there is a 2-week at least minimum lull period in gaming in general, I pick up Persona 5 and I play it.
See, I can't. I can if I can't beat a game in a month, I don't know if I can do it any longer.
But see, here's the thing: you can. You can.
Yeah, if I spend 12 hours a day on it,
You could.
can't do that. Although the next game I spent a hell of a lot of time on, and we both picked this for our number one because it definitely was Game of the Year and it won it, and you already know what it is.
Yeah, it's Breath
Zelda.
of the Wild. Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
had to be. So many things. Zelda took it up to a level where honestly, if you would have talked about it 3 years ago, we didn't think it was possible.
Yeah.
And
like the Switch is just what did it. Like, like if you
absolutely,
like, yes, the Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U, but if it would have just come out on the Wii U, I don't know if I would have made it Game of the Year. Like, no. it was a great game, but having it on the Switch, being able to play it portably, being able to have different controller options, being able to do everything that I could do with Breath of the Wild and thoroughly enjoy it wherever, whenever I wanted, that's really what made it Game of the Year for me. Like, I could just play this game and not give a shit.
It was so good.
Great.
Story setup was awesome. And they did it as well as the Zelda game does. They didn't dabble too much, but then at the same time, they gave you just enough at a surface level where you can appreciate it.
Gave you everything you wanted, but more.
Exactly. And then even the DLC drop, which gave you way more story insight, which is cool.
Yeah.
Combat, really smooth. The way you can kind of backflip and then counteract attacks, which was cool. But they didn't teach you that until later on, so you felt like you learned something way later. All the items, the fact that items had durability, which originally I thought was going to be really stupid. Yeah. But then the way every enemy
treated it.
The way every enemy has an item that you can then use and pick up, and the way you do start getting weapons later on, and God, even the build up in this one to get the Master Sword. Man, that felt like an accomplishment. Like, that felt amazing. And the fact that in this one, they really made it like a trial. It was not I know a lot of people that beat Breath of the Wild that never got the Master Sword.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough. That is a skippable item in this game. I thought that was very interesting.
I thought it was interesting that it wasn't a fixed story point.
Exactly.
It was just like, hey, this is out there. If you want to go get it, go get it. You don't have to, but if you want it, go get it.
Yeah. I thought, it was just so good. There's so many things we can talk about the game. It was the highest rated game now of all time.
It beat out The Last of Us. The Last of Us had 42 perfect scores, with over 100 scores above 90. Breath of the Wild is currently sitting at 49 perfect scores with 175 around there, give or take. Last time I looked, over 90, which is crazy, and it probably will have gotten the most Game of the Year awards.
Definitely.
So
it crushed it. We couldn't have been more impressed. Even when it first came out, if you watched that episode, we talked about it for fucking
now
days.
The question is, with Zelda and Mario already being out, Nintendo has to crush it this year if they want to keep it going, which they will based off of what they've already talked about, but
which we'll talk about in the next episode.
We're
talking about a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So guys, so that pretty much covers our year in review.
Yep.
We hope you guys liked it. We hope you guys appreciate the fact that we came back.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? They might have been like, those annoying guys blowing up our Facebook are gone.
God damn it. More updates in my fucking YouTube subscriptions. Or notifications. Which, speaking of which, if you haven't been notified yet, hit the goddamn notification bell. Yep. Always helps us out.
It's pretty neat.
So pretty much on that note, guys, on our next episode, which I want to give a little bit of a preview for, Nintendo did their whole mini direct.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that. We're pretty excited about that one.
It's a whole bunch of bullet points. That one's going to be a small, quick episode.
And on top of that, exactly. And on top of that, upcoming games.
Yes.
That are about to take over our lives.
Yep.
It's a very big deal.
And we'll talk about those in much bigger, better episodes later on.
Exactly.
Just like Nintendo did a mini direct, we're going to do a mini episode.
Yes. It should be pretty cool. So on that note, guys, as always, and the first time in 2018.
I was going to say, I haven't heard this for a little while. It's been a little bit.
Good evening. Good night. And as always, good luck.
Yep. See you guys.
Have a good one, guys.